Hey everyone, welcome back to Small Batch Devs. My name is Austin.
And I'm Elliot. Today we're upgrading our CI/CD system with GitHub Actions and Firebase's new Preview Channel feature. This is part 2 of our coverage on Firebase's new Preview Channel feature.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We would definitely appreciate it. But without any further ado, let's jump into it.
In our last video, we covered the basics of Firebase Preview Channels. So if you haven't checked that one out, we'll leave a link in the description and we'll put a little flag up here.
A little doohickey.
Yeah. So click those, check it out, and then come back and watch this one.
But today we will actually be using GitHub Actions to automate the deployments of these preview channels. But we also have an introductory video for GitHub Actions that we've done. So if you're not familiar with GitHub Actions at all, you can check that out. We'll leave it in the description.
And up here.
And up here, the little doohickey. If you're unfamiliar with that, you might want to check that out. So yeah.
So you want to use Firebase Preview Channels with GitHub Actions anytime that you want to test one of your PRs or you want to share your changes with someone else and not have to have them download your code, build it, and then run it locally. Makes for a very speedy development process. Frictionless.
You may also want to create a preview channel, maybe for a feature branch, and there probably are many other great reasons to create a GitHub action for your preview channels.
Yeah, let us know how you think you could use these preview channels with your CI/CD pipeline. So if you don't have Firebase set up in GitHub Actions already, you can use the Firebase CLI command firebase init hosting :github.
So even though we already have GitHub Actions set up for our Firebase project, we're actually going to run this command because it actually also generates some code that we don't have already and sets up just some stuff in GitHub that we'll talk about in a second. So let's go ahead and just run this command and we'll see what happens. So as I mentioned before, we have already set this up. So it is noticing that we already have some stuff initialized. So we're just going to proceed. And the first thing it's going to do, and this is off on another screen, but it's actually going to ask you to log in to your account. It opened a browser and it just asked you if GitHub can use and communicate with Firebase authentication.
So now we need to let Firebase know which GitHub project we're going to be using with this hosting upgrade. So we're just going to type in the name of our GitHub repository that you guys should all check out.
I can't.
So we're just going to add the name of our GitHub repository in here. So as you can see, some of the steps that it took was including creating a service account in our GitHub repository. And this is going to help out whenever it creates this workflow for us because it needs a certain token from Firebase to run the script. So we're actually not going to set up a workflow to build before every deploy. We'll be setting up a different workflow in just a minute. So the last step is it's going to ask if we want to set up another workflow for any time a PR review exists. Now, we already have this file set up. That's why it's asking if we want to overwrite that Firebase hosting pull request file. So we're going to say no here, but we are going to walk you through the script that it generates anyway. So the last step is going to ask if we want to set up an automatic deployment to our live production site in Firebase whenever a PR is merged. And normally I would say yes, go ahead and do this because it's very handy. But we already have a script that we set up in one of our other videos that does this already. So we're just going to go ahead and say no here. And now we're done.
So as Elliot mentioned in the previous step, a YAML or a workflow or a GitHub action, whatever you want to call it, was created for us so that whenever we create a pull request in GitHub, a preview channel is deployed to Firebase. And this YAML handles that. It should be generated in your .github/workflows directory, so make sure it's there. We did also add a little bit of steps here so that we install our dependencies and actually build our project. Since we're using Angular, this is what we came up with, but you might have something different here for that. So all that's left is we have to push this to our master branch, and a new GitHub action should be created in GitHub for us. Something else that's important to point out is there's a bit of information or metadata here for the Firebase Hosting plugin, our GitHub Action plugin. And some of this you can obviously change. Obviously, you don't want to change your token or service account, but like the expires flag, you can change this so you can set it to some longer time if you want your preview channels to be available longer whenever you create a PR. There is a little bit of tinkering you can do with this. So yeah.
So we've pushed our workflow up to GitHub repository, and now you can see we're in the Actions tab in our GitHub. And sure enough, the first action in there is the one that Firebase just generated for us.
So now what we're going to do is actually create a PR and see our workflow in action. And that's no pun intended there, because that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're just going to create a PR with one of our branches here into master. And it looks good. Let's create the pull request. Create the pull request. And this will like kick off our GitHub action. But if we actually go over here to actions, you can see we have one in progress. So we're going to just check that out. We'll give it a few minutes and we'll see if it creates a new preview channel for us.
So the workflow is finished running now, and if you want to see any of the logging that it output while going through this process, you can click on the left sidebar and check out all these different build steps from our workflow YAML file.
So you might be wondering, okay, well now how do I see if my preview channel is available and how do I get to my preview channel? So if we click on this Firebase extended plugin output or step, then you can see here under where it says deploying to Firebase preview channel, we have a URL, and this is our URL for our preview channel. So if we click on that, it'll open a new tab with our preview channel, as you can see here, and it has some changes in it you might not recognize, but we did a little bit of refactoring on the website. One important thing to keep in mind though with this is it doesn't add our preview channel to our authorized domain. So it is something you have to go into Firebase to do. You just can copy your preview channel link and add it as a authorized domain in the authorization section of Firebase. So we're now in Firebase, and in the authentication section under sign-in method, if we just scroll down to the bottom here, we can add a new authorized domain, and we're just going to paste in our preview channel link and add that, and now you'll have authorization inside of your preview channel.
So thanks for watching, everyone. We hope you enjoyed this video and learned a lot.
If you did, make sure to drop the video a like and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Also check out our Small Batch Devs blog, smallbatchdevs.com, and also follow us on social media if you don't mind. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Peace. Let's record that outro, bro.
So now what we're going to do is actually create a PR and see our workflow in action. No PR. No PR intended.